Hey, word on the street, I'm a suspect. Hanging with the killers in the projects. Taylor want a barrel, keep quiet. Catch a nigga slipping from behind. OG Bobby Johnson. OG Bobby Johnson. OG Bobby Johnson. OG Bobby Johnson. Put nigga out like an outbreak. Chopper start, so make the house shake. Nigga sweeter than a pound case. Eyes on your chin, better watch what your mouth say. Ain't with the footballs, got a nigga tripping. Fuck it, nigga keep sipping. AK, the beam on it. Clip sold on like a lean on it. My nigga like behind ball. Move 100 pounds for a nigga beat the charge. Jack down, and it play muscle. If a nigga try to rob, fucking hit him with them. Word on the street, I'm a suspect. Hanging with the killers in the projects. They don't want a barrel, keep quiet. Catch a nigga slipping from behind. OG Bobby Johnson. OG Bobby Johnson. OG Bobby Johnson. OG Bobby Johnson. 100 bands on your head, get the job done. Throw it up, nigga, where you from? Whole hood hot, cause your nigga hitting licks. Ain't made a meal yet, but he still nigga rich. Stick on my, stick on my, stick on. How you want it, nigga? Full of the semi. Looking for the cash, searching for the bag. Young nigga wildin', throwing up flag. Shooters on the roof with a scope. Money they gon' treat you like the Pope. Keep me in the post.
Hello. I'm back again. I was just here yesterday. Hey, y'all. How is everybody doing? Once again, we are back with the after party live earlier than usual. Now, if you saw my video for the Devil's Advocate, that should have been about 4, maybe 5 days ago, but we are doing the after party now because I wanted so badly to have the guest on that I'm having today. I'm so excited that he's here. Everybody who's here earlier than usual, I appreciate you. I see a whole lot of my moms. Like, this is going to be a good time. I can't wait to discuss this movie because, as you guys know with the video, I went into watching this expecting to feel really good about the movie. Probably expecting to feel the same way I felt about the movie when I watched it maybe as a teenager, but just watching it as an adult, I was like, oh, that was different. So I can't wait to hear his opinion on it. Now, before I bring my guest out, I need everyone who's here to please hit that like button so we can get as much engagement as possible, as well as get ready to meet somebody new. I always bring you guys interesting guests. Let me see what you guys are saying, but let's see. I see a new person. Let's see. You want me to tell you about God? Thank you so much for being here, Raven. That's the new face. Thank you. Welcome to the channel. Yay! Tara and Mike collab. Hey, Sin. Hey, Sin. You guys be on the lookout for Sin. Whenever I discuss the craft, which is coming up pretty soon, Sin is definitely going to be the guest for the second time. Me and Sin had a really good time last live. Let's see, Tyra, don't you go after my man Keanu. I didn't say anything. We just started. I didn't say anything about Keanu or anybody's acting capabilities. We just got here, TG. Let's see. Hello, everyone. Hello, Tony T. Thank you for being here as well. Hey, Bree. Let's see. I'm at work, but I'm gonna watch this live. Thank you. As long as you let it play, just play it in the corner. Don't get in any trouble. We don't need those problems. But thank you so much for sacrificing and listening. Val, thank you. So you were here yesterday as well, Val. Thank you guys so much for showing up back to back. Let's see. Yes, finally got my notifications on time. It's slow at work. So yes, if you guys are getting those notifications again, that is absolutely awesome because y'all know YouTube plays with me and just notifying y'all about anything, period. So that's always a good thing. Let's see. Looking forward to that one. Love chatting with you. Absolutely, Sin. It's gonna I feel like we're gonna have a really, really good time. I haven't seen that one in a minute as well. Let's see. Mr. Parker's greetings. I have been seeing you comment on a lot of my videos recently, and I appreciate it so much. Welcome to the live. All right, you guys. Hello. Thank you so much for being here as well, Jen. Now that you guys have hit the like button, let me get ready to bring my guest out. I can't wait to hear how he feels about his channel, how he feels about, the space on YouTube, and what he thinks about the Devil's Advocate. Welcome to the stage. Did you see that? Not see that, Z that. The last letter in the alphabet.
Right.
Hello. Thank you so much. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm great. I'm interested to know exactly what time it is where you are.
Yeah, it's just gone 8 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
Just
Okay.
finished a 12-hour shift, and I was like, I can't wait for this.
Well, I really appreciate it now. Like a 12 hours, that's, no easy feat. So to make time to be here with us, that's absolutely awesome. I appreciate it. I was trying to catch you before it was, pushing the 9 and 10 o'clock mark. Oh, man. But just getting here, I found your channel when I think I was in my second year of YouTube, and you were kind of a familiar face hanging out with a lot of the people that I was familiar with, like Sin, or I think I seen D Movie Man. And I was like, oh, let me go check him out and see what he's doing. I was like, oh, he's really good.
Thank you.
Yes, I watch a lot of your reviews. They're always really good and really entertaining. And sometimes you throw in, some different things, or just off key, your taste and stuff, just all
Right.
kind of things. But what was the inspiration for you to start your channel, and how long have you been on YouTube?
Yeah, well, first and foremost, thanks, Tyra, for having me today. I really, really appreciate it. And
Yeah.
hello to everyone in the chat as well. Hope you're doing well. So back in 2018, at my current job, there was a guy who said, Mike, do you watch YouTube? And I was like, nah, not really. And yeah, believe it or not, I wasn't into YouTube that time. And he said, do you know of Chris Stuckman, right? And I'm sure everyone's probably heard of Chris
Yeah.
Stuckman by now. So I said, no. So I started watching him, found his reviews really interesting. But then there was a point, because I'm quite a creative guy anyway, outside of YouTube, I like writing books in my spare time as well.
Oh.
So yeah, so I'm quite creative, like the brain's always going with some kind of idea. But yeah, so I kind of disagreed with a few of his opinions. I was like, hey, look, why not just put the camera on, give my opinion? If people like it, cool. If they don't, that's all right. I can just delete the video, delete the channel. No one knows, right? And hey, 5 years later, here we still are. So it's been a journey.
That's great. I saw that you just hit 2K subscribers. Congratulations on that. Like, how hard has it been to, because I just like to have a voice for just growing on YouTube. Anybody on the other side of the camera, they don't really understand how hard it is to grow your channel. So how can you speak a little bit on that and the journey of getting, I don't know, from 1 subscriber to where you are now?
Yeah, absolutely. Can't kind of agree more with that. Yeah, so starting YouTube, not sure about you, Tyra, but when I started, I didn't have like an audience, didn't really have like a community or know anyone from YouTube.
No.
So big shout out to Anthony A. Perez if he's watching this. Anthony came across my channel one day and it left a really nice comment. And it was one of those, when you get your first ever nice comment, you're like, wow, someone cares, right?
Yes.
So we commented. He was like, liked my stuff, got talking to him, and he gave me tips about thumbnails, description boxes, tags, because you don't learn this stuff when
No, you don't.
YouTube,
just get on
right?
here.
Right, you get on and hope for the best.
Yes.
So Anthony brought me into a community where I met Rashad. Rashad G Reviews, great guy. And then eventually down the line met D Movie Man.
Yes.
Who you spoke about. D, big shout out to D if he's watching. And then I met Sin's Corner through that as well. And then of course I learned about you through D Movie Man.
Yes.
So that growth's been great, getting that community. In terms of subscribers, I guess it depends when videos start to take off or people start being like, oh yeah, I like listening to this guy and what he's got to say. So it's been a journey.
I don't know. I didn't start with a thing. I didn't start with anybody, any subscribers, knowing anything. Like, it's just every single video, down to this one is a learning curve for me to like, oh, I didn't know how to do that. Now I know how, but I didn't start knowing how to do anything and just growing. I think you have to find your space here. And I just set a goal. I was like, okay, I got to be different. Let me try to be different, and then maybe I'll stand out. That was my main goal, was just to try to be different and not be like any other person talking about movies. So I was like, whatever way I could do that, I'm going to add that to my video wherever I can, and it's been really successful so far. Let's see, what is your favorite video that you've ever done that you were like, oh my God, that video I just did, that was my best video. And this is where, because I have my video where I was like, oh my God, I feel like a real reviewer now. I feel like because nobody knows what they're doing. Nobody knows what they're doing when they start. Like, you just like, oh my God, you just like, oh, it's terrible and I'm going to post it. But you have, that one video that you do is like, oh, that's not only my best video, but I really felt like I was a reviewer at this moment.
Right. Hey, great question. I would say it goes back maybe about a year and a half ago.
Mhm,
I took on the Michael J. Fox filmography because he's my favorite actor.
mhm.
For anyone who doesn't know, I'm like the biggest like Back to the Future fan.
Oh, wow,
Uh,
that is nice.
Thank you. So the context of that story is I was covering his filmography, and I
Mhm,
came across a movie called Bright Lights, Big City.
mhm.
Him and Kiefer Sutherland, I think from the late
Like
80s, early
80s.
90s.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I watched that movie when I was a teenager. Wasn't huge on it at the time. Didn't have that appreciation. And then I
Mhm.
went back and watched it, and I was like, "Wow, I really love this movie." So I had a guest collab with Sydney Volpe
Yeah.
on that collab, and honestly, Tyra, that review was kind of like how you do every review. I was like, I studied it. I took so many notes, everything. And
Mhm.
I watched it back and I was like, wow, it's probably the best I've ever talked about a movie presented on my channel. And I've never seen kind of match that in a way, you know?
Yeah.
It's kind of crazy.
It is. That's like one of the best moments ever. I've done a lot of videos at this point. I can't really pinpoint. I used to have one, but I feel like I'm still learning and getting increasingly better at what I do. So I'm
Right.
not feeling it that. And then we can't go off of video performance because a lot of my videos that perform and get high engagement, I'm like, I hate that video. Why did y'all watch that? Why did y'all watch that so much? I have really good stuff over here. But let's see. Last question. What is the ultimate goal for you on this platform to feel like I've accomplished what I set out to do getting on here?
Yeah, I'll be honest. I don't really have an end goal.
Hmm.
Simply because I mean I don't know about yourself, Ty, but as mentioned before, I didn't have any ideas of joining YouTube to start with,
Yeah.
and don't get me wrong, I always want to grow, always want to make a better video, and develop my skills and talking about movies and my presentation, background, light, and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Um, so far, I've been fortunate to interview a few actors in Hollywood.
Yeah. I was there.
The main one being like David Howard Thornton, like
Yes.
Terrifier or The Clown recently, which was awesome.
I was there for that one.
Yeah, and like something like that, right? It just blows your
Mhm.
mind. I'm thinking, 5 years ago, I didn't dream of this. Now I'm interviewing Art the Clown. Like that was
Mhm.
just achievement in itself. So I kind of take it as it goes, right? And just hope for the best.
That's very understandable. I like that it doesn't put a intense amount of pressure on yourself to perform to meet a certain space. Like I'm not putting any
Yeah,
pressure on myself. Whatever happens, whatever's meant for me, it's just gonna happen. I'm just getting on here
yeah,
because this is what I like to do. Because I'm one of those people who put pressure on myself.
yeah. Well, it's so easy to do though, and I just found if you put too much pressure on, it can weigh you down. And I just think like this is an enjoyable space.
Oh
What's
yeah.
your biggest accomplishment?
Oh man, do I have any? This is my biggest accomplishment so far. Like
Right.
I know that you guys get on here and I get so many compliments from not only the subs but my guests like, "Oh, Tyra, you're doing so good. Like it was a really good live." I'm like, "I hate this so much." I'm
Yeah.
not this isn't particularly my comfort zone. I'm a very introverted person. I can be,
Right.
as rambunctious as I want to in a video and edit and post it, but just live, I don't like going live.
I like it.
So
Right.
this has been a really great experience for me and just really pushing myself beyond my comfort zone. I'm like, I'm doing it. Like I think it's good. Like I think I'm doing good. I think I'm doing good. I haven't hyperventilated or something and got off of here. So it's been really great. But I've been building up confidence and just
Mm.
being live and just engaging with people in a live setting with every single live that I have done so far. But this is not my favorite thing. So the fact that I am here and we're talking in real time is a main accomplishment for me.
Hey, fair props to you. And hey, it's great that you stepped out your comfort zone to do that as well.
Mhm.
These lives are great anyway. So you guys hit the like button right now if you haven't.
Please do. I'm gonna
Yeah.
read some of these comments, guys, and we are gonna get started. Let's see. We tend to be really good at
Mhm.
things that's out of our comfort zone. All right, Bree. Thank you. Thank you so much, Bree. Let's see. Hello, Jay. Jay's here. Hey, Jay. Thank you so much for being here. Welcome.
Hey.
Oh, hello, VKJ TV. Let's see. Great live. Keep it up. Thank you for being here as well. Can't wait to collaborate with you on Raising Canaan in a couple of days. What it feels like. We're waiting on that. Hello, Nicole. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you. Thank
Hey.
you. Thank you. now get into, what we came here to discuss. I'm hoping that you've had, some time to watch the movie and, recently just get into your feelings of it. I can't wait because my subs are trying to rip me to shreds a little bit. Like, oh, this is a great movie. I was like, oh, I'm sorry. Oh gosh. Well, I always open with the quote here. That's my new thing. If you don't mind, would you read the bottom line there in your best your best Al Pacino voice possible?
My best Al Pacino voice.
Yeah, your
Wow.
best rendition of Al Pacino, just about to transition and show Keanu who he really was. Can you read the bottom quote, please?
I can read it. I don't know about Al Pacino. Wow. Okay. Okay. Here we go. He's a sadistic, an absentee landlord. Worship that? Never.
Good. I like it. I like it. Now, I am not one to leave you out here by yourself. I'm going to do it as well. He's a sadist, an absentee landlord. Worship that? Never. That's all y'all got out of me. That's all you guys get out of me. Because in some type of coincidence where I don't know, just making the video for this, I kept getting responses like, "Oh my god, we love your Al Pacino impression." I'm like, I wasn't trying to do an impression in this video, but if you guys love it, I love that too.
It was great. It was great.
I do. I love it. Like this is a movie that I watched a lot as a kid. Probably wasn't supposed to be watching it, but I did. Did you watch this a lot, or was this your first time watching? You just caught it when it maybe was on, or did you watch this often?
Hey, I'm gonna be honest. I watched this for the first time ever on Saturday night.
Really? Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
You got like an unbiased opinion then.
Right. It's one of those things. The interesting thing is, a little while ago, I used to work in a shop that used to sell DVDs and CDs. And the amount of times I'd see this DVD cover and I'd be like, wow, like the colors are so vibrant. I was like, the main poster art with, his hands on Keanu, I was always intrigued. I just never got to it. So when you hit me up with the collab, I was like, hell yeah, here we go. Here's the time. So yeah, I've only seen this 2 days ago.
What? That's amazing.
Right.
That's amazing because you don't have I just kind of have this built up wall of expectations of how much fun I used to have watching this when it came on, because it was always on cable television like every other day. It was on TBS or TNT or USA Network or something. It was just something to watch when it came on. So I was really familiar with it. So to watch it now and me, being a so-called movie reviewer, I was like, I don't feel the same way about this. But how did you feel about the film as a first-time watcher?
I thought it was very interesting. What there's a lot to like about, and there's a few things I didn't like for sure. And after watching you, I think it's going to be quite similar in that as we get into this more. Yeah. I think the plot's really interesting. About the devil and kind of like the whole reveal, although it's kind of in the beginning, really. But for me, I haven't seen a lot of movies with Keanu or Al Pacino in. Yeah. So when these two sort of start, I thought, okay, are we going to get like another an early John Wick style performance here? And we didn't. I was like, wow, Keanu really busted his chops in this movie. At least I thought he did.
Well, I want to get into Keanu. What was it? Was that was Keanu's performance here? Like, what was your favorite thing about this movie that really stuck with you? Because with watching it so often and people hold it to a standard and love it so much, really low key solely based off of, that last 10 minutes of monologue from Al Pacino. But I'm trying to get people to express what they love about the movie outside of that. That was always going to be good. It's Al Pacino yelling, But, was anything a standout for you in the movie besides, the last 10 minutes?
Yeah. So one of the best, well, not the best thing, but one of the most kind of interesting things was when Keanu first goes into John Milton's office. And just that architecture behind him, as you see like this photo down here at the bottom, I was like, wow, that already kind of paints like a big grand scale image of like what this office is, like maybe how important this guy truly is. despite the devil aspect, obviously. And just the building itself, right? When he first enters this building, it's huge.
I told you it looked like hellish. It looked like hell and satanic architecture.
Right.
It was massive in cement and just really, it looked like he was entering some type of chamber. It looked unsafe.
Right. And that's all props to, the architecture, like the set locations that was chosen and the way the cinematography captured that, making this room look bigger than it maybe even is,
Yeah, it was nice. Just nowhere like, because it's like the devil never sleeps. So there's no, like, where does he sleep? There's no bed anywhere. It's just some, big, massive office. But I found myself this go around really liking the interjection of those 7 deadly sins that I didn't notice. Of course, watching this as a kid, you're not looking for that, but I was paying attention. I was like, oh, that's it's here. It's he's falling into that, and you see that between him and Charlize Theron's character. I was like, that's really good. That was a standout for me, but not so much the movie. Personally, I do not feel like that this movie aged well. I know a lot of you disagree, but for me, it just didn't hit the same as it did when I was 13 or 14.
Right.
It was completely different. Oh, and you got to watch this straight out the gate, like because we were watching this on network television. A lot of things were cut out, and I was like, watching this now, I was like, oh my goodness. I didn't know all of this was here. But this could have been a Joel Schumacher situation. Of course, he has directed a lot of movies. He didn't get a chance to direct it. It went to Taylor Hackford, who has, some credibility under his name. He's directed movies like Ray and An Officer and a Gentleman, things like that. But with this particular director, and I saw his filmography, I was like, oh, he's done Falling Down. And like around, the time of this movie, he did A Time to Kill. And I just started. Have you seen any of the movies here?
Yeah, so I've seen The Lost Boys. I've seen Phone Booth. And I know about Fallen Down, Michael Douglas, right?
Yeah.
I know about them. Time to Kill, I've not seen. No.
Oh man, I wish you'd seen that one.
I know.
It's a lot going on, but we do get a lot of intensity in a courtroom, and I was just relaying it to this situation here. But he's really good at capturing just intensity in the movie and just making the stakes really high. And I was just thinking about what he could have done with the script or with the directing versus what we got. Not saying that it was all bad, because a lot of decisions were made here, but I just feel like we spent a lot of time talking and kind of, kind of pacing and, I guess, Al Pacino kind of poking the bear and, it's a lot of that, but it's not, I didn't feel like we moved the plot along a whole lot. And I felt like we lingered a little longer than we needed to. I felt like the movie was too long in general, but I was like, I wonder what it would have been if he got a chance to direct it. Do you think it would have been better, or are you maybe just still content with what you saw Saturday?
Yeah, I think it's a little bit tough to call, because movies like you got on screen, like Phone Booth, for example, I absolutely love that movie.
Yeah.
And I remember seeing that as like a teenager, and I still watch it every now and then. And that alone, for just in a phone booth, right, it's so tense.
Yes.
For the whole runtime, and that's just one little booth, one location, so to say, for the most part. So I think in this one, you're right. I agree. I think there's a bit too much talking. I think if you had a chance to direct, maybe work, because I know this is based on the book from your review. Although I don't know how much that's true to the book.
Yes.
So I think with his direction, he would have brought definitely a unique style. Not that the movie's not unique, kind of like already. I would have liked to have seen what he would have done.
Yeah, it's a lot of walking around talking in power suits. I would have liked to see it. I would have liked to see it, but not just to say that I completely hate what we got, but it's just a little emotion that just feels like what if. Because when you get into, the courtroom from A Time to Kill and something like The Lost Boys, I love The Lost Boys. I was like, this could have really been something different if he could have put both of those movies together. But, thank you so much, Taylor Hackford, for what you did.
Definitely.
But getting into, I guess, still what could have been, Brad Pitt was pretty much on board to portray Kevin Lomax. Yeah. The only reason, he didn't get around to it was because they had a really hard time finding a devil, and it just kind of descended off after that, and the role was in waiting, and of course they picked it up again once we got into Al Pacino. But could you see Brad Pitt in the role of Kevin?
Yeah, I could see him in this role. He's definitely been you know, he did Seven. He's done Fight Club. I mean, he's done so many movies to list, but I think he could pull this role off pretty well. Because I think, if I'm not mistaken, Al Pacino was going to be played by Kevin Spacey at one point.
I'm not sure because they I think it was Al Pacino kind of trying to push the role away.
Yeah.
He was offering up certain names, like give it to, you know, Kevin Spacey or Sean Connery or somebody. And it says a whole lot that, you know, the distinguished actor that Al Pacino is, which it gives to the movie to where I feel like it doesn't hold up, because if the likes of Al Pacino didn't want to take it because he felt like it was kind of a cliche depiction and it didn't have a lot of depth to the character. He's like, I can't do anything with this. Like, but you know, hey, if you guys meet my salary, I'll take it. And of course, you know, that's what ended up happening. But I could definitely see Brad Pitt taking it. I'm just hearing what's in the box. Open the box. That's all in my mind. Because it was, you know, around that time, so I could definitely see him doing that.
Yeah, me too. Me too. I think he would have been good.
Tyra's favorite Brad Pitt. Hey, there's no bias here. We just happened to be talking about Interview with a Vampire a week or so ago. I am not biased. Let's see, Brad would have definitely done a better job. Yeah, we were about to get into Keanu and, you know, him. As Mike said, he was, you know, he's known for action. Let's see, I agree, Tyra. The Devil's Advocate aged poorly. Hello, Pretty Girl Love Trap Music. Thank you so much for being here. Let's see, is there a Lost Boy review on the channel? No, there is not. No, nobody has ever purchased the Lost Boys, so I have not discussed it, but I would love to. I was a big fan of the Coreys. I was watching all the movies. Let's see. Oh, Keanu. Oh, man, my bad. Oh, God.
That impression's great.
Oh, whoa. Oh, it's very, very, very dude type of. I just call him a dude actor because it's just very like, whoa. Like, and I don't like to associate him with big Ted and Bill's Excellent Adventure, but it's just that's just him.
Right.
That's just him.
Right.
But let's see, Keanu Reeves goes serious with an accent. Now, he took a pay cut to be here. He sacrificed, you know, a portion of his salary so that they could get Al Pacino. But he wanted to go against type and show that he could do a little bit more than action and really stretch himself. And, you know, prior to this, he tried to stretch himself with Bram Stoker's Dracula. He had an accent there as well. Keanu doesn't do well with the accents.
No,
he does not do well with the accents, but you can see that he is pushing himself beyond his comfort level of something like The Matrix or the John Wick series or all the, you know, Speed and the, you know, the action movies that he's known for. But how did you feel he did, like, as a whole? How did he do with his role as Kevin?
I think as the movie progresses, I think he gets better. I think at first it's kind of like, as you mentioned, he stepped out of his comfort zone. This is completely different to what he's done. And that accent at first, I was like, I've been to Florida quite a few times. I never heard anyone talk like this in Florida.
Well, you know, those old 90s and 80s movies, anybody who was, you know, south of anything, they were talking with the, it don't matter, you know, what part of anything. Like, you're in the South, okay, we're going to talk with the most Southern accent as possible. Like, yeah, nobody's speaking like that. But the accent was coming and going, first of all. I was like, did he lose the accent in that scene? It didn't really stick. But as you said, I believe that he got better as you know, as he went on. I think let's see. Yeah, I don't even want to say as he went on, because I was going to say, like, when he, like, pretty much finds out who Milton is and, you know, the whole transition from the hospital and Marianne, you know, letting herself go. I was like, his acting got better. I was like, that's like the end of the movie, though.
That's a little too late.
Yeah, like that's you know, pretty much the end of the movie. But he I prefer Keanu in the action roles. Okay, I'll just leave it there and, you know, take it from that. But it was nice for him to try to stretch himself as an actor, but I'll stick with The Matrix.
Like, don't get me wrong, I didn't hate him in the role, and I don't think he was miscast or nothing like that.
No,
as you say, I think as he got on, he got better. In the more serious moments, he had more of that acting ability. He could stretch and really go for it. And I think he did. But then there's moments, as you said, the accent drops and you're like, what's going on here, you know? A little bit.
Yeah, it's a lot of now this woman here, she's actually like my favorite thing about the movie now.
It's great.
Watching it now, I didn't know, you don't know watching it as a kid, but this was pretty much like one of her first movie roles. It wasn't a wine, Kevin. It wasn't a wine. I really like her here. I like her here. You
Yeah.
just see this budding of, what she could maybe do with the movie role. I love her as an actress, first of all, but she was the highlight in the movie for me. I found myself being a little bit more invested in Marianne, even though we didn't see her as much than I was, with the situation with Kevin and John, because we, of course, we already knew what was happening there. With Marianne, especially if you're a first-time viewer, you really don't know what's going to happen with her, and you just see her descending. But how did you feel about Charlize in the role?
Yeah, I can't agree more with you on this one. I think she was definitely the best element. I think I've read on IMDb, I could be wrong. I think she took time out of his weekly schedules each week to see a therapist to maybe practice schizophrenia for this kind of role. I thought, wow. It just goes to show throughout the movie, because I think she's the main and maybe one of the most owning characters you can really root for, and you're seeing Keanu go down this descent of just madness. John Milton, egging him on to do so. But yeah, Marianne's just struggling. She just wants attention. She just wants affection from her husband.
Yes. Oh.
And one thing I found funny, by the way, I've got to add this in your review. You're like, I don't know if he was married or not. And then I thought, hold on, was he? And then he had the ring right at the end.
I had to really go back and double check. I didn't identify watching it before how bad of a husband. He was a terrible husband. He's a terrible husband. As soon as they got there, it was just like, all right, he was just done with her. And it was almost like he was never emotionally available to her, and it was just more of a lustful sexual situation. I was like, oh, I think Kevin was trash this whole time, way before they even left Florida.
He
was never, a good. She was just, his cheerleader in his corner, pretty much for the time being. And it's just like, I'm moving up in the world, and I'll get to Marianne. Who cares? She's on the floor having a nervous breakdown. I gotta get the case. But the way he just kind of threw her to the wolves and didn't really care for her. I just had to double check. Was she really his wife, or is this some random chick? I was like, oh, but it's a really a strong testament to his character. I felt that more than any of the little trifling cases he had from start to finish. That clearly these people are guilty, but you're defending them. That didn't do a whole lot for me as far as his character, but how he treated her from start to finish, I was like, oh, this is a terrible person.
Yeah, it definitely is. And with how her character evolves throughout, it just makes you kind of realize she's such easy prey for the devil to prey on and really manipulate her.
Yes. See, The Equalizer, I find it amazing that Keanu Reeves has physically held up after all these years. Yeah, Keanu looks good. Those John Wicks, I don't even remember what happened in the last John Wick, but he was kicking ass. That's all he does. He's very good at it. He's very physical and very capable. It looked like a live action video game. Let's see. Charlize is the GOAT. Loved her in Monster. Yeah, this was prior to all of that. This was, I think maybe she did a little small 2-bit thing. This was pretty much her first movie role. So if she was coming like this right out of the gate, you already knew what was to come. My favorite role from her is definitely Mad Max Fury Road. That's my favorite so far.
Yeah, great in that.
See, I agree with you, Tara, but he is better in the role of John Wick. Yeah, he tried. He tried. We'll give him credit for trying. But shout out to Charlize for having an amazing career. Let's see. Let's leave and get to the action. I'm here for a good time and not a long time. He is having a really good time here in this movie. It was I was kind of stuck in between because Al Pacino is known for that more over the top acting style. It's really good, but it's it's very attitude and strong voice. It's driven by that. But here I was like, is he phoning it in? Is this good? It was you know, the last 10 minutes is always going to be the last 10 minutes. I love that, but it
Right.
just a lot of his acting here was mostly reserved to his face and like I'm sneaky.
Mhm.
It was they
Mhm.
were I really hate the fact that they were so over the top with letting us know that he was the devil. Like if they would have just kept that at bay and had him act like a normal person, then it
Mhm.
could have, you know, or you know, different exchanges of dialogue. But if you know, going, yeah, I like the subway. Let's go under the ground. I like to be low. Like, okay, like what? We don't, you know, we don't have to be hit over the head with the fact of who he is. But you know, the little
Right.
cheeky sticking his hand in the holy water, and it's very moo ha 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 in my opinion. But how did you feel about Al
Thanks.
Pacino in this role?
Yeah, so I felt that he did a good job, and
Mhm.
I think probably part of that is, as you spoke before, Tyler, about originally didn't want to do it. He kind of passed
Yeah.
it off, and then he learned about Keanu taking a pay cut, and he found out about that. And I think he donated some to charity as well, which was pretty cool.
Mm.
So yeah, I think there's moments where he really shines, and then you said, I agree, where sometimes it's like the facial expressions. That
Yeah.
one scene I really loved when he's in the elevator.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Oh, come on upstairs." And then Keanu's like looking back at Marianne. He's kind of
And he's like,
deciding,
yeah, come on up here.
right? And then just that really creepy smile he gives right at
Yeah.
the end as the doors close. And I thought, wow. And then, of course, you got the two women in the background in the elevator. I just felt like that was just really such a
Yes.
powerful scene to show that he's the devil in a way.
Yeah,
Although at this point,
the subtle things are really good. It's the
yeah,
dialogue that throws me off. His acting
a
is
little,
fine. The subtleties in his face, or like I said, the change that happens once he reveals who he is and he's disheveled and he's acting a whole lot with his body here, which is really awesome. But just the dialogue in the script was just like, I'm the devil. I was like, okay, we got it. Let's
I
see.
agree.
So the big reveal wasn't that he was Kevin's father. No, that was. My issue is that's not in the book. And the intention
Mm.
was that the whole reveal that he's the father, you know, the Antichrist baby, that was placed here by, you know, the writers. I believe that in the book it was supposed to be that he was the, you know, the devil, which I think would have played better. And we could have just been on this journey with, you know, is he or isn't he, instead of us just outright knowing. I think since they didn't go that route and it was so obvious, they tacked those things on for those to be, you know, the big reveal. But I think it was early on when I realized that, you know, he was his father as well. It definitely wasn't when his mother told him. It was
No,
prior to that, but that, and it was like, well, if they figure that out, let's add on the Antichrist. You know, let's just keep going. But I feel
right.
like if the reveal was against type, because we don't, as we'll see with the devils, like every single devil we get, a lot of the depictions are, you know, the pretty much generic depictions of what you're gonna get, but it just being, you know, a normal man, you know, really inconspicuous, and you never know. I felt like they should have really played that up, and it could have been like, oh my god, like it's been this whole time. It was like, oh my goodness, this
Yeah.
explains so much. But instead, it was just like, you know, we want an Antichrist baby. I was like, okay, okay. But yes, the reveal was supposed to be that he was the father in the baby situation, not so much that he was the devil, but with the movie being 2.5, you know, and a half hours, and you know, and then some, like almost I think like 2 hours and 40 minutes. It's like we're sitting through all of that. And then, you know,
Yeah.
the last 10 minutes we tax on the baby and the father situation. It's just like we've been sitting here for a long time. But I did like, you know, Al Pacino. And what is your favorite role from him that you've seen him in, period?
Well, so this is the thing, and I'm probably going to be maybe one of the very few. I don't think I've seen much stuff with him in to like, yeah, to really compare, like his roles.
Hmm.
So I can't really answer it. I'll be honest.
Okay. Well, I like her.
What about
Well,
you?
just to start with some, if you want to check some out. I
I've
love
got a
him
list.
I love him in Carlito's Way. I
Yeah,
think A Dog Day Afternoon.
yeah.
Definitely Scarface.
Yeah.
Scent of a Woman. That's the one I believe he won his Oscar for. That's not really, and I think he's playing blind. That's not really one of my particular like favorites. But a lot of his early stuff is really, really good, really,
Yeah.
really good. But when we get into Dunkachino territory, TG, you know about the Dunkachino in the Adam Sandler movies. This is around the time. But this and him playing with Robert De Niro in Heat, those are his really, really, really good roles in my opinion.
Yeah, I've heard those. I've been given those ones to watch. I've seen the Dunkachino and the Adam Sandler movie.
Still got
Not good.
Scarface, Any Given Sunday, Carlito's Way. I always forget about Any Given Sunday. See, yes, I do. See, Dunkachino, TG knows. Heat and The Irishman. Yeah, you really see like, wow, he still has it. You didn't watch The Irishman that came out recently on Netflix? Oh,
no, it was 3.5 hours or something, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, it was. Let's see, what about The Godfather? I like The Godfather.
Oh, I like The Godfather, yeah.
Yeah, I like The Godfather, but just like my favorite from him, I love him so much in Carlito's Way, and just because I'm a gangster myself, I just love Scarface. I think Scarface is just like the perfect, that along with The Godfather is like the perfect mixture of what is considered kind of over the top acting now, but for Al Pacino, it's Al Pacino's acting. It's just like right there in the middle. And I love that. All of the extra bravado in Scarface, that's my absolute favorite, along with Carlito's Way. Any Given Sunday is a good one, but The Godfather, that's always going to be the GOAT. A lot of people love that one as well.
Right. Right. Yeah, highly regarded.
So you've seen The Godfather?
Yeah. I love The Godfather.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I've actually seen that one. Yeah.
All right, you guys. Tits, ass, and vash. Oh my. Watching this on TV, I had no clue. I was in no way prepared for this.
Me neither.
No way. I was not prepared. I swear I would have warned you. Like, because I don't know if you have children. Like, don't watch this with anybody around. I don't know. I remember this movie in the sense of Fallen with Denzel Washington. Like I thought the tempo was, matching that, just more on the supernatural side and not too much, I don't remember any sex or any nudity because, of course they weren't showing those things on network television.
Right.
Was the nudity, in your opinion, justified or just excessive? What did you think?
I think a little excessive.
Yeah.
For what this movie truly is. I think the scene with Charlize Theron in the church, I thought that was really out there to do.
Yeah.
But powerful as well, because it shows through all this time, through the neglect of Kevin, like what's been happening to Marianne, how is she being manipulated, what's truly been happening, and he doesn't really see that till he sees this. And he's like, oh, okay, I didn't know about this.
And then it's like for guy like, oh, let's just get her checked in. She's clearly lost it. She's put all these cuts, she put them on her back and everything, all by herself. Terrible husband. Terrible husband. But the scene where the lady below, I think that's Tamara Tooney, her in the dressing room, it was just like, yeah, touch him. I was like, what is going on here? Feel them. Are they real? Are my boobs in the camera yet? You see them? They're perky. I'm keeping my husband happy. I was like, why are we lingering? Why are we lingering here for so long? And then we have to watch her touch him. And this is like, I was like, oh. And then I was like, okay, with this Devil's Advocate, I'm sure that a lot of these are meant to be more of a biblical reference because Marianne in the church, it really did look like Christ on the cross, and she puts her arms out along with Christabella in The Office. It felt like they were kind of mocking that, but I was like, if we're gonna go the biblical route, it would make more sense if it was equal opportunity nudity. Like, no, only the women were nude.
It was. Yeah, I agree about the dressing room. Yeah, it was like it felt like a free for all. I was like, okay, is everyone just doing this now? Okay.
I wasn't prepared. I wasn't prepared for us to kind of stay within certain sex scenes as long as we did. I was like, what is? I don't remember this. But it's because I didn't see it.
That love making scene with Keanu in his apartment. Nah.
Yeah, it bothered me with how mentally broken that she, like the state that Marianne was in the fact, which is why I felt like their relationship, well, his draw to her was strong, lust and, sex wise, because she's clearly like off her rocker and in a very tortured state of her being. Like she was like, she just told him, like, I think that was the scene where she's like, they took my ovaries and I can't have children and I'm just broken. And, you could tell like she's hearing and seeing things. It's like, all right, let me just have some sex with you. I was like, what is going not fixing anything.
Right.
That was bothering me that was solution, but of course that said a whole lot about Kevin's character. But I was just trying to make sure I wasn't being a prude because y'all know I love a good love scene and I don't mind a little nudity. I was like, this is a lot. And I don't know if you've seen Showgirls, but
no.
Oh my goodness.
But I've heard.
If you like having a party or something, throw drink every time you see a boob. Terrible. Okay. It's very, very campy. Like Showgirls is a hot mess, but it's a lot of nudity there. But I didn't see why Charlize would turn that down. It's not a good movie by far, but she turned that down. It's like, oh no, the nudity isn't justified there. But I guess she felt like it was here. I was like, it's really not, but okay.
No. I guess this was more of a powerful scene, I guess, to do.
Dennis trying to get on my case. Wait. I thought Tara loved sex scenes. I distinctly remember that. I do, Zen. I do. I said sex scenes. I didn't say other stuff. It has to be done in the appropriate nature. Then it needs to be consensual, and the nudity does not have to be in excess. It doesn't have to be the whole thing. I never said that, Sin. Don't put that on me. Showgirls was awful, absolutely. But I'm glad she turned it down because her career could have went totally different if anybody who was a part of Showgirls, their career just went what? It was a terrible decision for anybody that was a part of it, but this was not the ladder to go, you know what, the nudities, this is a better decision than that. Like it was a better role than Showgirls, but the nudity was still, just about the same. Let's see, Rick Baker on special effects. How did you feel about the effects here in the movie, or just Rick Baker? If anybody doesn't know who Rick Baker is, like, oh my gosh. He's, when I think about special effects, period, he's the first person I think of because he's been in the industry so long and he's so good at what he does. But I was very surprised that it was him who did the effects here. I was like, what? How did you feel about the special effects in the movie?
I agree. Yeah, like Rick Baker's a master of what is craft, and let him go wild, and he's going to give you results. And this movie, the CG was bad. Bad. I was like, are they meant to be like demons? I'm like, I don't know what they look like.
Yeah.
No, I know, but they didn't look like that.
No, I think I love what Rick Baker does so much because it's always on the practical side. I felt like the what he did, because these two busts here on the sides, those are things that weren't used in the movie. There were so many effects that he did that went unused. But it's like they put their own CGI over that to, I guess, enhance. I'm like, we could have left it alone. We could have left it alone and left it on the practical. I feel like it would have aged really well if it was practical. So as you see here, I think that's An American Werewolf in London down there, of course. Things like The Nutty Professor, the Michael Jackson Thriller video. All those things still look good now. And all of those things are older than this film. So, and even, modern day up there, I think that's, those are aliens from one of those Men in Blacks, but everything aged, really well. So to come here and it's just like, something's off. I definitely don't believe it's Rick Baker. And a lot of the subs, they were like, well, Tara, it's the 90s. What are you expecting? Like the CGI. And I was like, no, we ain't taking that. Nah. Everything else, it's fine when we leave it alone and leave it practical. But when we I think they tried to move their faces to kind of make it scarier. And for whatever reason, a lot of y'all in the comments was like, oh, that scared the hell out of me when I was a kid. And I was like, oh, y'all were sensitive people. I always thought it was, a little comical in my opinion. It didn't relate well to because you would see Marianne. Marianne is freaked out, like, oh my God. And I'm like, oh my God, this is funny.
I think maybe as like a kid, back then when it came out, as a kid, seeing the TV version, as you mentioned, Tyra, I think kind of seeing that at first, you would be like, oh, okay, that's a bit creepy. But when you watch it now, you're right. If you watch American Werewolf in London, the practical effects still stand. Some of them now better than what you get even now, right? Yeah. But then this doesn't age.
Yeah, well, yeah, I know I was one of those kids watching all the horror movies under the sun, so it didn't do anything for me. Not from my standpoint, but I can understand if it scared a couple of you guys. I see. It did used to scare me a little. Let's see. Not my pipe bomb, but yeah, I just wish because a lot of stuff went unused. I just wish that we could have seen maybe what it could have been if they didn't, digitally try to alter. Because I think it was so funny to me when the lawyer is getting murdered in the park, and then the CGI, like they're see through and they're clear and transparent, and then they like magically. It was so bad.
It was awful.
It was so bad, and I just feel like with it being Rick Baker, there's no excuse for any of your effects to look bad or poor. But just so it just wasn't me. See, did you see that, Agrees? It's not just me.
I completely agree. It was bad.
Oh Lord. And kind of finishing off here, I was trying to look at, I don't know if you've seen any of these. Kind of some of my favorite are like well-known depictions of the devil. I had to stick that little raggedy elevator over there because when I was talking about the devil movies, I was like, what about the devil? What about the one with the elevator tower? I was like, I don't even acknowledge that, but okay.
Right.
These are some of my favorites as far as depictions that I've seen. Of course, we have Robert De Niro up there, and Angel Heart, Elizabeth Hurley in Bedazzled, Clarence Williams III in Tales from the Hood, and over there we have Tim Curry in Legend. Which one of these have you seen? And would you be open to seeing, like, that's such a weird question. Like, do you want to see more depictions of the devil? Like, I just couldn't. I thought, I don't know, mentally I thought there would be more, or just like more standouts. But I was like, oh, this is why. Not only because it's Al Pacino that it's just so popular, it's because this is maybe like one of the few good renditions that we have. Like, do you want to see more of that? Because this is what I found, even in comparison to current day. Have you seen any of these?
I haven't, no. But a depiction I have seen is have you seen Wishmaster?
Of course.
So I've seen that kind of depiction. You're right. Like in your review, you're saying usually the typical is like red with the horns, with the spike in their hand, right? And you're right. I think you make a good point in Al Pacino's character that if the devil was to come up, like to say Earth, for example, they're not going to go around in the red with the spike. They're going to come around looking like a human. You're not going to tell and do maybe a manipulation that way. So they're going to blend in with everyone. So I think it just gives a more realistic approach. And I appreciate the far-fetched ones, maybe the bit out there ones, a bit like that one right at the end next to Al Pacino.
That's a good movie. Well, Legend isn't a good movie. You should watch it though. Tim Curry as the devil, or that's good. That's really good. It's Tim Curry. This was right over there with I think this was before it. Like, it's really, really good.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's good. It's because it was the 80s. Yeah, and it was 1990. It's really good. Elizabeth Hurley, she's a typical, she's a sexy devil.
Right.
And you should watch Tales from the Hood. It is pretty good. You get it's more of a I think kind of what I wanted from this movie, the expectation of this is the devil, but we don't know it. It's a big reveal in the end. So that's always really good. And then Angel Heart, Robert De Niro is the devil, so it's Robert De Niro. So it was cool, but I wish that there were more, a little bit more to choose from, because I was thinking about Wishmaster. I was like, but the Wishmaster, he's like I was like, there's a lot of depictions of demons, but just like the big Lucifer devil entity, it's not a whole lot of those. Or you'll get like, demonic. Even the Wishmaster, I think he's a jinn. Like, somebody needs to get that. Like, I love fulfill your wishes. Good times. Really, really good times. But I would definitely be open to, a couple of more devils on my TV screen. If that sounds good.
I think as you mentioned, it's like a market that could really explore and give something different, right? Because all these are different in their own respects.
Yeah, so absolutely.
I think it's it.
Let's see. What about Freddy's New Nightmare? Wasn't he that was like for 2 seconds. That was like for two seconds, TG. The entirety of the movie, a full fleshed out role, not the darker Freddy. You know, I'm gonna go watch that. I haven't seen that in a while. The fact that I remember that it was 2 seconds though.
Right. Hey,
Hey,
that's
who
great.
dat? Hello. But yeah,
Hey.
just ending it off. How do you feel, I guess, about the legacy of this film? Somebody like yourself who hasn't seen it, rolling up and seeing it for the first time. How do you think in this climate they're gonna, because you just discovered it, which was amazing. How do you is this something that you would revisit? If it comes on, I'm gonna watch it, or like, you know what, I've seen it one time and I'm good on it. I don't need to watch it again.
Yeah, I think down the line it would be a movie I'd like to explore again, because I think, although as we mentioned, I think our same gripe is the devil's revealed far too soon. There's
Yeah.
no kind of shock value at the end, being like, oh wow, the kind of mind blowing twist ending. You don't get that really.
No.
But I do like the way that Keanu's character evolves from just the court cases in Florida, then taking a big time. And one of my favorite quotes was right at the end in that kind of 10-minute monologue, so to say, where he reminds Kevin that you did this all of your free will. I
Yeah,
didn't,
that's
because
part of the movie.
yeah, because all along you think, oh, hold on, he's been manipulating him, but actually he
Yeah.
hasn't. It's his own thing. So there's elements I really like, and there would be times I would rewatch this, I think. But
Mm.
you're right, there's a bit too much dialogue. Not one I'd rush to rewatch, but I think it's going to be a movie that, as you mentioned, people who maybe like seeing depictions and see what's different out there in the market, I think they'll come across this and be like, oh, okay, that's a little bit different.
Yeah, I'm okay, guys. I don't I don't want to watch it anymore. This would be something that's maybe down the line. I mean, like way down the line in a few years, because I have movies that like, oh, I have to watch that at least once a year. This is not one of those movies for me.
No.
It was nice to go back and revisit and kind of get into some of those memories that I had, from childhood, and also see that, there was all this nudity and sex that I never knew about. Oh my God, it was sick. But this will not be, one that I'm rushing to watch, but this is something that I will go on randomly, because I do this, like, oh, I'll go on YouTube, like Al Pacino's last 10 minutes monologue. Internally, I just want to see that portion, be very nitpicky about what I do want to see, but not so much the whole movie. But I feel so bad saying that. This movie was really, really popular.
It was, yeah. It's got quite a following.
Let's see. Hey, Tara in chat just finished watching After Party Live from yesterday with Mo. Thank you so much for watching that, Danny. Be sure to watch this one as well. Let's see. Let's move this one here. Let's see. The legacy of this movie is sexy in the worst way. Nudity? Is that what you're talking about, TG? That's gotta be the only sexy thing here, and that wasn't even sexy. I don't know. I'm bothered.
No. Especially not that Keanu lovemaking scene. No.
I don't want to see that anymore. I don't want to see this anymore. But you have been absolutely awesome. Like, I'm gonna give you the screen for a moment, just to tell people what you do over there on your channel, where they can find you, and what you may have coming up, this week or next week. Go ahead.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. Well, thanks for having me. Yeah. So for anyone who doesn't know, yeah, my name's Mike. My channel's Did You See That? And yeah, over on my channel, I do movie reviews. Whether it's new movies, older ones, kind of cover a lot of movies. In the month of December, I usually cover a lot of Christmas movies. I do Christmas specials of new movies and older ones. Over on my channel, as this kind of screen recorder is right here. Yeah, I like doing movie reviews, but I also like doing vlogs, like horror cons and different Comic Cons, some kind of concert reviews, a little bit of all sorts, kind of keeping it fresh. Some Lego builds and stuff you guys can see here, and kind of Funko Pop builds as well. So yeah, a lot of cool stuff over on there. Definitely feel free to swing by and check it out. And thank you guys for having me as well. Really, really do appreciate it. And thank you, Ira, as well, for having me.
Mike, this has been fun. I'm glad you came here and looked at Nudity with me. It's been really great. It's been really, really great, and I appreciate it. I'm going to put your link right here in the chat for the people to see. You guys, it is posted. Please go over there and check out Did You See That? He does some really great stuff here. I'm looking myself because I've missed some stuff. 5 actresses I dislike. I want to see those.
Yeah.
That's really good. I'm looking at this face for Freddy's Friday. What the heck is Freddy's Friday? I thought it was the other one, whatever the one just came out that I did not like.
Mm-hmm. Oh, Five Nights at Freddy's.
Yes, there's a Freddy's Friday.
So yeah, over my channel, you guys. So when you guys get like a new movie like Five Nights at Freddy's, I always used to go out and seek out like the asylum versions of those movies and like Freddy's Fridays, and I'll bring a review for that. I like covering bad movies.
Was it better than we said bad movies? It's not hard to be better than what I saw at the movies.
Yeah, Five Nights is better, but that one was more violent than Five Nights at Freddy's. And you think that should be the other way around?
It's the most bloodless movie I've seen in a long time.
It is.
You guys have been like really great. Once again, be sure to hit that like button. Go and check out Did You See That's channel. Mike does some amazing things over there. I would really appreciate that. Be on the lookout for what I have coming up. I believe the Temptations 4-part miniseries is coming up along with The Craft and one more movie that I can't remember right now, but The Craft is going to be awesome. Can't wait to talk to Sin. That's going to be great. But Mike, you have been really awesome. Thank you so much for coming on the channel, and we will definitely see you guys again if Mike is opening, to gracing us with his presence for a second time.
Absolutely. Just give me the call up. I'm ready.
All right. Good. I'm going to say good night, guys. I'm tired. It's good night for you. It's definitely not good night for me.
No.
I see you
Bye,
guys. Thank you guys.